So the First Lady already touched on that a little bit earlier this evening, but one of the central themes of the Association of Rape Crisis Centers November conference was the tension between the needs of victims and quote-unquote national needs. For example, the need of a victim of a sex offense on October 7th to privacy and to be able to tell her story in her own time, and our feeling of a national need to expose the crimes that happened on that day. Can you tell us how the association is supporting women through this?
Of course, but first of all, I want to say thank you to everybody who has so much patience. And I'm sorry that the First Lady is not here, but I always, when I see her, I tell her that after she will be finishing to be the First Lady, she should be the next president, because she's amazing. Yeah, we should have a woman president.
Give it up.
So maybe she will hear that. And thank you also for your philanthropical work. It's really amazing what you're doing. And I met you, and now I remember, and a few years ago you were in the house of, in Mevaseret, so I remember your story, and you're really amazing. You should read about her. Yeah, very interesting story, yeah. Okay, so ask me again, because
this tension between our national needs and our personal needs, the needs of victims. How is the association helping women handle this?
Well, the issue of sexual violence is very interesting. Everybody wants to hear about what happened on the 7th of October, and who are we? The Association of Rape Crisis Centers in Israel, in one sentence, we're the most veteran and strongest organization in Israel that fights sexual violence, and we're the umbrella organization of 9 local rape crisis centers that are all over the country. And like Magen David Adom, we're very passionate about our work, and the women who come to volunteer in our organization and the men. When you enter a rape crisis center, you never leave it, like the song. So this is who we are. So to deal with this tension, yes, so we felt like we're like a shield for the victims that we didn't even know in the beginning, because, you know, from the time that the issue of sexual violence started to be known, and especially after February, when we published the first report in the world about what has happened, we got so many people coming to us till today, asking us all kinds of questions. Some of the questions were everybody wanted a scoop, to get a story. You know, you're a journalist. You all want the story on the Jerusalem Pool. You want the first woman or man that will tell Hamas, Nukhba terrorist, raped me, abused me, right? Everybody. But you know, we get every year 56,000 calls to our rape crisis centers in Israel. And this is a small number. It's not the actual number. We know how it is to deal with these survivors. And we know that it takes so long till the stories come out. And I can even share with you here in this room about, you know, I myself am a daughter of a survivor from Auschwitz. My mother was a Holocaust survivor, never said one word about what happened to her. But I know that, and you all might know, that maybe 15 years ago in Israel, Holocaust survivors started to tell their stories about sexual violence in the Holocaust. It took so many years. So, okay, now it's 2025, it's not after 1945. There are therapists, there's a lot of awareness, but these survivors that came back from captivity or from the Nova, they suffered horrific things. And you know, in Israel, and we all live in this country, to say that you're a survivor of sexual violence from the enemy, it's everybody, many people are embarrassed to say, but the enemy, unfortunately, but this is the truth, some people feel that it's like being contaminated. So they don't want to tell the story. And this is, of course, understandable. So the tension between what the country wants and what the survivors' needs is huge. The country wants a story. The country wants protection in Hague. The country wants everybody to stop the denial, right? But but the needs of the country are not important as the needs of the private person. And and I can tell you, even like we talked with so many people. One example I will never forget of a very a journalist from the UK, from one of the most prestigious newspapers, asking me in a meeting, you know, he told me, I have a friend who is so expert in the dark web. How come in the dark web, that's how you say it?
Dark web, yeah.
How come he didn't find not even one video clip of rape in the dark web? So I told him, I thought, what should I answer him? So first I said, I'm not a spokesperson of Hamas, don't ask me. And the second answer I said, I am sure that the Hamas Nukhbot, horrific terrorists, are very smart people. They know what to do and what not to do. Even if they uploaded all kinds of horrific things, they also have their limits and their borders. But you know, as we're sitting here today, we just heard another story of another survivor from captivity, and the ones that, you know, it's all in Ynet, giving us a story. And one of the things that we try to do a lot, and I think the Israeli society and the journalists really understood not to ask more than was said, because it's their privacy, it's their story. Time has its time.
Their needs are really so important.
Yeah, so.
And I think more on kind of the needs of victims in the country. Something that you've said is that some victims of sexual offenses have not come forward since October 7th because they feel that their problems are small in comparison to victims of October 7th. Can you tell us how you're encouraging victims to still come forward even now?
After the 7th of October, 8th, 9th, 10th, our 9 rape crisis centers, many of them had silence on the hotlines. And if there are people here that work with weak communities, maybe you also felt like that people did not dare to call. And why not? Because the horrific things were happening outside all over. I don't have any right to call. Who am I? Even if my father abused me, even if my boss abused me, you know, people suffered from horrific things, and it took many, many weeks. So we tried to fundraise for that. We were lucky to have support from the L'Oreal company, who gave us some money to do raising awareness and saying, you are entitled to call now. You know, you have. And still today, we did a research with survivors of sexual violence, and they feel still, some of them now, that their problems are not as the national problems. And, you know, people are entitled to live good life. And it will take a long time till things will be stable here. I hope it will happen tomorrow, but I'm not so optimistic. So this is why we exist. You know, like MADA, Magen David Adom. Every day people need MADA. Every day they need our MADA, our rape crisis centers, and we will do them utmost to help them.
Thank you so much for your important work. I wish we could keep talking all night. We're out of time.